decipherers of this multi-dimensional, multi-layered spectacle. WION deciphers the images and the hues, sifts real performance from rhetoric and noise, claims and counterclaims, populist pitches and hidden truths, untangling, unraveling this celebration of democracy.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the US.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of. A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA. Join the conversation.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Everyone loves a contest. But sport isn't just about victory and defeat. When the GOATs in sport speak, you hear it first on WION.
You have to play good cricket over a period of time.
I actually pushed myself right out of the damn tournament.
We go beyond the stats. Our stories are quoted the world over.
At WION, sport is part of our DNA. Come, join us on this journey. Weekdays 6:30 p.m. IST, 1 p.m. GMT.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching the latest coming in from around the world right here on WION World is One with me, Molly Gambhir. Here's a look at the headlines. Ukraine claims downing first Russian long-range bomber used to fire cruise missiles at cities across the war-torn country since the war started. One Russian crew member confirmed death. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu visits the military plant in Omsk region as Moscow ramps up pressure on the Ukrainian forces. Major missile attack kills 8 in Dmitrovsk. Negotiators set to gather in Ottawa, Canada for fourth round of negotiations towards what would become the first global treaty on soaring plastic pollution. Taiwan terms China's decision to open new air routes perilously close to 2 Taiwanese-controlled islands flight safety risk taken without consultation. Adds it will demand any aircraft using them be asked to turn around. India delivers export variant of BrahMos supersonic cruise missile to the Philippines, concluding a $375 million deal signed in 2022. It is the biggest military export of its kind for New Delhi. Voting underway in 21 Indian states and union territories in the first phase of India's national elections. And as voting continues in the first phase of the Indian general election, my colleague Isha Hanspal getting you the latest.
Thank you so much, Molly. Well, it is the biggest festival of democracy. India votes in the first of 7 phases in the general elections. 166 million voters in India are exercising their franchise in 102 constituencies across 21 states and union territories. But of course, polling is underway in 102 parliamentary seats across 21 states and union territories in the first phase of the Lok Sabha elections, and the polling commenced at 7 a.m. and will end at 6 p.m. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Congress leader Rahul Gandhi urged people to exercise their franchise. Well, sporadic incidents of violence are also being reported in West Bengal, where polling is being held on 3 seats, namely Cooch Behar, Jalpaiguri and Alipurduar. By 10 a.m. local time, both TMC and the BJP had lodged dozens of complaints with the Election Commission over violence in the Cooch Behar Lok Sabha seat. Elsewhere in Chhattisgarh, a barrel grenade launcher's cell blast was reported in the Naxal-hit Bastar region. It was located only 500 meters from a polling booth in the Galgaon area of Bijapur while polling was underway. Now, this is as per reports. And also, a security personnel who was part of a team conducting area domination exercises was injured during the blast. And of course, first phase of voting is also underway in Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur parliamentary constituency. Over 16.23 lakh voters are expected to cast their ballots here today. But voting seems to be more important for some than the others. And one such example was a newly married couple from Udhampur who went straight to the voting booth after tying the knot, cutting short their wedding festivities. But it is not only Udhampur, even in Uttarakhand, a newly married couple similarly dashed to cast their ballots at a polling booth in Pauri Garhwal. Over in the northeastern state of Assam, voters were seen using boats to travel and cast their ballots. In the first round, 86.47 lakh people are expected to vote, out of which around 42,000 are 85 plus voters, while around 1,500 voters are more than 100 years old. In Maharashtra, a bamboo and forest theme has been implemented at a polling station in the Kata area of Ramtek Lok Sabha constituency to give voters a new experience with this unique concept. Well, to get you the pulse of the nation, our reporters are fanned out across key locations. We have Siddhant Sibul from New Delhi, Siddharth MP joining us live from Chennai, Dharamjot Kaur live from Alwar in Rajasthan, Idris Lone from Srinagar, and Disha Shah, who is joining us from Mumbai. Let me first, of course, go across to Siddhant, who will give us a pan-India perspective of the first phase of the 7 phases of the elections in India. Siddhant, can you just give us what are you seeing and what are you hearing around from your sources about the first phase of the voting that has commenced in the country?
As almost 1/6 of the humanity goes to polls, this is a mammoth exercise and it has drawn applause across the world. Every successive Indian general election, and this time it's no different. Of course, the Indian Election Commission is making sure that everyone who is eligible to cast their vote is able to do. Today is the first day of the polling. We are witnessing, of course, polling across the country wherever, of course, it is designated. Remember that for the Indian Election Commission, the focus is also to face the challenge of violence. There have been certain reports in West Bengal, and also to deal with the issue of fake news as well, for which it has come out with a new initiative. But today, of course, is day 1, the first phase of polling. It is a few weeks long, and by June we'll get to know the results. But before that, we do expect a lot of colour and action as Indian democracy goes to witness one of the massive exercises, that is the voting.
All right, thanks Siddhant. Let me now go across to Siddharth MP, who's joining us live from Chennai. Siddharth, the state of Tamil Nadu is seeing the largest number of seats, 39 seats. Now we know that Prime Minister Modi has visited the state multiple times for campaigning. Would you say that his visits will perhaps impact the voter sentiment there?
Yeah, to start about the Prime Minister's visits itself, so these are, very carefully timed. This year alone, there's been at least 8 to 10 visits that he's undertaken, both official visits and also political campaign visits. What we have to keep in mind is that this is part of a well-crafted strategy to ensure that the Saffron Party, which has not had a significant grounding here, can actually grow. So the party looks at 2 ways of growing. One, of course, is by fielding heavyweight candidates, and in a handful of constituencies, be it in Coimbatore, be it in Kanyakumari, be it in Nilgiris, or be it even down south in Tamil Nadu, in Tirunelveli, they have significant chances of making it. So this is a place where, they have some kind of very important contenders who have a chance of making it as a winner or as a runner-up in the polls. And what we have to keep in mind is that as much as they fielded these candidates, it's also about gauging what kind of vote percentage they gather at the end of all of this when the results come out, because this is a party that has always, remained in the single digits. They've remained, in fact, below 5%. They've almost got 3.5 or 3.5 or something like that. That's been their kind of vote percentage so far. But if such a party can get to double digits in terms of vote percentage, this is actually exponential growth as far as the BJP is concerned. And this is a party that has not had, an MP for the last 5 years from Tamil Nadu. It's only their ally that had an MP. So given this context, it is important to remember that this is a party that's attempting to grow not just in Tamil Nadu, but also in adjoining Kerala, where polls will happen next Friday, because these are two regions where the BJP has never seen any growth. For example, in Kerala, they have not had a member of parliament itself. So this is the kind of situation, and why the BJP has hope in Tamil Nadu is because in the last polls in 2021, in the assembly polls, they got 4 MLAs. Of course, they were in an alliance with the AIDMK, the party which is among the strongest here in the state. But the fact remains that this time, going it alone in a tri-cornered fight, it will be extremely interesting to see how the BJP candidates fare, and every single win or every single second place that the BJP wins will be something that the party actually sees as significant growth on the ground.
Right. Thank you, Siddharth, for those updates. Let me now go across to our correspondent Dharamjot Kaur, who is in Alwar in Rajasthan. Dharamjot, you are in the midst of a desert. And of course, fair warning has been issued about the extreme temperatures that the election season might witness in the country this time around. And when we spoke to you earlier in the morning, you did tell us that as we were progressing towards the afternoon hours, the voter turnout had somewhat slimmed down. Do you see a similar trend continuing, or do you see an enthusiastic voter turnout around you?
Well, Isha, it has been a rather sluggish afternoon even now because, the heat is at its peak right now. We're touching about close to 40 degrees Celsius. So voter turnout is dismally low. Since 7 a.m. in the morning till now, we have an overall voter turnout in 12 constituencies of Rajasthan, somewhat, plateaued at around 35-36%, which is about half of what the total average turnout is by the end of the day. So poll officials who have been around for a few years conducting elections, they say that there is an uptick that is expected between 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., which is the last 2 hours of when voters come to exercise their right. Because weather is playing spoil sport at the moment. We see, a complete standstill. There are hardly 1 or 2 odd people coming in to cast their ballot. These numbers, however, are expected to again go up in the last 1 hour, last 2 hours, before polling comes to an end. So at this moment, this is where the situation stands. It's a little more sluggish on the urban side of Alwar and other constituencies as well. The rural areas and the rural polling booths, they tend to see more footfall, in terms of the voters who turn out in large numbers with their families to come and cast their ballot. So a slightly dismal picture on the urban front. The rural so far is carrying forward whatever total voter turnout we have seen so far. Isha?
Thank you, Dharamjot. Do take care. And now we go across to Idris Lone, who is joining us from Srinagar. Idris, these are the first general elections that are happening in the state after the abrogation of the Article 370. Do tell me, what do you see around you? Do you see an enthusiastic voter turnout? What is the sentiment? And more importantly, if you can also touch upon what is it that the voters are really looking at in terms of their demands that they expect from the leading leaders over there who are contesting the elections?
Well, absolutely, Isha. It's the first election after the abrogation of Article 370, so a lot of excitement among the people, the politicians of Jammu and Kashmir. If we talk about the number of people that have come out to vote, we've got the report that 43% of people have already casted their vote till 1 p.m. After that, we've not received the updated data as of now. But 43% for Udhampur seems to be a decent number, as if we compare it to the last time, the total percentage was around 72%. This time there are two main contenders who will be fighting each other in this election. One, the sitting MP, Dr. Jitendra Singh from the Bharatiya Janata Party, will be fighting directly with the Congress leader Chaudhry Lal Singh, who has also been an MP from the same constituency twice. The Congress candidate this time will be supported by the regional political parties like National Conference as well as the PDP. So it seems to be a tough fight between the two. And since morning, the weather was really bad. There was rain all across Jammu and Kashmir, due to which we did also see that the number of people coming to the polling booth had come down. But now it's clear skies. The sun is again out, and so are the people people. We are seeing huge number of people coming out and casting their vote, especially women voters in the whole of Udhampur constituency.
All right, thank you, Idris. Let me now go across to our correspondent Disha Shah, who has very patiently been waiting there, and she's joining us from Mumbai. Disha, we do know that constituencies from Maharashtra are also going into polls today, and there have been instances of violence that were witnessed earlier on in the day. Could you give us an update on that?
Certainly, we have reported and we have seen a few cases of violence that were being reported earlier during the day. And right now, what we hear that the situation is under control. The security has been beefed up, definitely, where the violence was reported. But at this point in time, it is very important to note here that compared to 2019, this year, the voter turnout in Maharashtra is extremely low. As on 1 p.m., the last update and the report that we had received, the overall voter turnout was about 32% in the state of Maharashtra, which is less compared to what we saw in 2019. It was about 40% at that point in time. Of course, there are a number of reasons what we understand from the officials in concern that a lot of, considering it's a working day, a lot of offices have not really given offs to the employees, and that is why we might expect footfall to increase later during the day. From 4 p.m. onwards is what we are being told. Right now at this point in time, the Gadchiroli belt, Gadchiroli and Chimur belt, they have completely stopped voting at about 3 p.m. They started off at 7 a.m. considering it's a Naxalite area, so considering the security and the safety reasons for the people who come out and vote. So the voting has been stopped at 3 p.m. and for the other constituencies, the voting will continue till 6 p.m. To engage with the voters, like you had highlighted earlier, this time around, it's the very first time that 10 polling booths in that entire Vidarbha belt has seen theme-based booths, be it from bamboo forest or farmers or army, all of these, and even rainbow, which also recommends, the transgender communities. All of these are the theme-based booths just to engage and interact with the voters who come in. There are about 95 lakh eligible voters who are eligible to vote in these 5 constituencies. So it is definitely a direct fight between the NDA's BJP and the MVA's Congress in 4 out of 5 constituencies, being Nagpur, one of the key constituency where Nitin Gadkari, the Union Home Minister, is going to contest. So all of this is definitely something that we see, and during the day we will have to definitely see how the voting percentage really increases and becomes better by 6 p.m.
Okay, thank you Disha, thank you Siddhant, Siddharth, Idris and Dharamjot for joining us with those ground reports. That's it from me from the election pit. Molly, it's back to you.
Thanks for that, Isha. Shifting focus for now, the reported explosions in the Iranian regions of Isfahan and Tabriz came amid spiraling geopolitical tensions. West Asia is a vortex of Iran-Israel tensions. Did Tel Aviv test Tehran's defense capabilities is the question. My colleague Raisha Segal getting you more.
The historic city of Isfahan is home to several nuclear-related sites, and the most important facility is the Isfahan uranium conversion plant. Well, the conversion plant has been operational since 2006 and it converts uranium yellow cake into uranium hexafluoride for Iran's uranium enrichment facilities. Now, as per the United States Institute of Peace, Isfahan also has a fuel fabrication lab. It also has a uranium chemistry lab and lastly, zirconium production plant. Well, moving on to the second site, which is the Tabriz missile base. As per the Nuclear Threat Initiative, the complex at Tabriz is reportedly Iran's second missile base housed in a silo. And defense experts say that Iran constructed 2 hardened silos at the base that probably contain Shahab-2 or Shahab-3 missiles at the site. Meanwhile, the mountainous region around Tabriz and the hardened underground silos would rather increase the survivability of the missiles at the base. The Tabriz launch area is approximately 50,000 square kilometers. Let's also now take a look at the long-range strike options for Iran and Israel at the moment. Well, Iran banks on the Emad medium-range ballistic missile. It has a range of 1,700 kilometers. While on the other hand, Israel's Jericho-2 medium-range ballistic missile is a lethal weapon and it has a range of up to 1,500 to 3,500 kilometers. Iran also relies on the Ghadar-1 medium-range ballistic missile and that has a range of 1,950 kilometers. Last but not the least, Israel can also count on the Jericho-3 intermediate-range ballistic missile and that has a range of around 4,800 to 6,500 kilometers.
The highly anticipated 14th Beijing International Film Festival kicked off in the Chinese capital late last evening. Shen Haoxiong, the president of the China Media Group, delivered a speech at the opening ceremony and shared his outlook on the Chinese film industry. A total of 1,509 films from 118 countries and regions applied to the competition this year, with 15 selected to contend for the Tiantan Award. The submissions covered a wide range of genres and themes demonstrating the global diversity of cinema. The international jury, headed by Serbian director Emir Kusturica, will deliberate and decide the winners in categories like the Best Feature Film, Best Director, Best Artistic Contribution and others. And talking about the guest of honor, Brazil was invited to be this year's guest as 2024 marks the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Brazil. 4 Brazilian movies reflecting cultural and regional diversity have been selected for the festival. The winners will be announced at the closing ceremony, which will take place on the 26th of April. On that note, it's a wrap on this edition. Stay with us for more updates coming up on the other side.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the US.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of.
A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your